What is happening, guys? Welcome back. And today we are going to do another lure remelt. And I got a pack of these Ozark Trail. I actually got two. I got this chartreuse with the black flakes, and I also got a June bug. So we're going to remelt these. We're going to see how their Walmart brand plastisol holds up. I'm really interested because chartreuse is such a finicky color. We'll see if it actually holds this color whenever I reheat it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these washed up and get the worm oil off of it. And then we'll be back and cut them into bits and remelt them. Stick around. We are back, guys. And I got them washed up, the worm oil removed, got them dried back down. So all we got to do now is kick it into high gear. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of hardener in here because, well, I want it to be a little bit stiffer plastic. So you add this stuff in here whenever it's cold. And there we go. That should be plenty. All right, let's get this thing in the microwave, and I'm going to heat it very slowly. We'll be back, and hopefully it'll still be chartreuse. All right, y'all. Looks like it has held its color. And let's get us a couple pours going here. See what we got. I put it in the microwave for 45 seconds, 49 seconds the first time. Stirred it. And let's see, then I put it in for 35, stirred it again, and I put it in for 15 seconds. And then right before I hit record on the camera, I hit it for 10 seconds, just make sure it was nice and hot for this. And I gotta tell you, it looks good. So we'll, when we pull these out, we'll go ahead and compare it to the lures that we took out of the package. I saved a few of those just because, man, I gotta tell you, it may be a little harder making these epoxy molds. I don't know if harder, but is the right word. But man, I just like the way I like the way they pour better than the silicone molds. I need to make a few more of those. All right, well, actually, I'm gonna go set this back in the microwave, and I'll keep it heated, and then when these set, we'll go ahead and pour the other ones, and then we will look at compare these to the original lures and actually compare them to each other, the two different types of mold. Same plastisol, same color, all out of the same pour. Only difference, silicone mold, epoxy mold. So that'll be something cool to check it out too. All right, let me get these heated back up, and we'll be right back with some results. All right, y'all, I just heated it up for 10 seconds and then 15 seconds. So it looks like I didn't fill the mold here all the way, but I don't think it'll be a problem. We'll set that there, and you could tell the difference just these sitting in here, how different the color looks. Now, one thing is that's a definite plus over the epoxy molds is, I'm sure you can see right there quite easily, the epoxy molds, I don't have to go over it with the heat gun. Now, that is only because I molded this lure out of clay, and as smooth as it may seem whenever it's finished and dried and hardened and all that, it's still porous. And this silicone, it picks up on every little detail of whatever you're casting. I mean, they're super accurate. So that doesn't give you a smooth finish if you do that. Now, if you copy a mold, or if you make your mold by copying a lure, well, it will come out shiny, and you won't have to do it on that because the plastisol is just, it's smooth. So when you make a copy of that, that's just how it comes out, nice and smooth, no matter if you're doing it in epoxy or if you're doing it in silicone. It all depends on what you make your lure, or what you make your mold, what you're casting, that material, what it's made out of. All right, so we'll let these dry. Just first look here. All right. This is hazy. I'm going to trim this up and knock it down, and then we'll see what it looks like compared to the other lures, how it held its color up. All right, and then we'll demold these and do the same. Back at you. Well, you guys, we got some results here. So first, let's look at the difference. So this is, we'll just use this right here in front of me. This is the one that was poured in the silicone mold. Actually, all three of these right here are. This was poured in the epoxy mold. Now, if anything, and mind you, I ran the heat gun back over these and cleared them off. So this looks just like the same sheen, shine, whatever that you would get out of a lure that you bought at the store. This is actually shinier than this. Ooh, here comes the rain. And let's go ahead and compare it to one of the original lures. And I wouldn't have noticed this if I wasn't looking at it, but I originally thought these came out the same color, but they did not. They darkened up quite a bit. I would not call this chartreuse anymore. I just call it a green. This is chartreuse. So, one other thing, and one very important thing, since I poured these for a U-worm, well, you see the bend in here? It's hardly noticeable. All right, so I did not add enough plastic hardener because a U-worm should sit like this. That's what gives us that crazy fish catching action that it's got. This, no bueno. So we are going to continue the video. I'm going to chop these back up and add more hardener to it. And also, I'm going to keep one of them out, and we'll see what the color change is. Okay, so we went chartreuse to a green. Are we going to get any darker? I'm thinking maybe the black from the glitter may have dissolved a little bit, and that's what darkened it, but I don't know. So let's go ahead and get these chopped up and look at some more results. Well, let's see if this works. I will go ahead and tell you right now that it was a lot of trouble reheating this. It actually started to burn a little bit, and I had to scoop some of those pieces out, and I was still using a very slow heating schedule. I had to actually go down to just heating 12 seconds at a time. I mean, it was really sensitive, and I'm looking at all kind of floating brown flecks in here right now. Yeah, so it did not do too well reheating again. And I don't think I could recommend it. Now, if you sat there maybe the whole time and did it 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, maybe it would work, but maybe it wouldn't. And this is pouring like crap too. It really could be a little more liquid, but I was scared to get it too hot after what it did, how it started behaving. So yeah, you can see I got 6 worms out of that last pour. There's going to be 2 in this one, guys, and that's all we have left. I'm curious to see the color change. I know it's got to be darker, especially with it burning like that. So we'll give these a minute to cool off and then look at the final results. Oh yeah, and here's the, go ahead and look at the aftermath. You can see where it started to burn. I was taking these off. That was a good one right there. So that's what I took out of it, which is really crazy because, like I said, poured 6 worms. 1, 2, this little bit, and that's not even enough for 1 worm that was left in here. So where'd it go? Did it evaporate and float away? The case of the shrinking plastisol. All right, well, let's get these cooled off and then we will discuss. And now it is time for the results, y'all. This is the original product. You can see the light chartreuse color. This was our first remelt and repour. Turned to darker green, almost like a watermelon seed. Almost. And this is the third pour where we remelted it again and added more hardener. Now, and this is the one out of the epoxy mold. This is the one out of the silicone mold. And then this is the plug that was left at the bottom. So I would say realistically, I could pour probably, I might could get 2 more out of this. Maybe. If the Bernie wouldn't have, I could have gotten 2 more out of this. So that would be 4 worms that I poured. But if you remember when we originally did this, it made 6 worms. And then we reheated it, and I only didn't put in 1 worm. So I don't know. It's close. I guess it really did. I don't know, but it seems like some of the plastisol just evaporated. But let's get in here. So we see the color change, obviously. That the second reheat, this stuff was burning around the edges. I was picking it out with my pliers as I went. Had to reheat it really slowly. And also, I want you to notice, see that white right there, that crusty stuff? That is hardener that did not get dissolved in here and kind of conjugated in a couple spots. I don't think it's in the worm. I haven't seen any. It was right there on the bottom of the cup. But the hardener did do its job. You see we got an angle in here now. Way better. I'll hold them up to each other here. Way better than this one. Okay, this one's hanging down. This one's still got that curve that's going to stay in there. Now, compared to the 500 plastic that I use, it's still a lot softer, but it would still work. It's still going to get that curve in action, not quite as tight as this. That's why I use the 500 series. It's perfect for these U-worms, but I like experimenting with other things and playing around with them and learning new things for it, and we definitely did learn. So this Ozark Trail, I think I'll say you're good for 1 reheat on the chartreuse. Just know it's going to darken up a little bit, and it's really not going to be a chartreuse. But chartreuse is a funny color about reheating, I've found. So I'm really impressed that it did that. This is the second one right here. This is the second one. This is the first one we did. And you can see the brown spots in here, hopefully in the camera, from the little burnt bits that were just too finely dissolved in there to pick out. And then this, yeah. I'd recommend it for a reheat once and 1 time only. Otherwise, you're just going to be losing too much plastisol, and the heating schedule is just going to be a pain in your rear end to sit there and do that. I am anxious to try the Junebug color and see how that works out. So we'll have to do a video on that soon. But I hope you learned some stuff. I did with this little experiment. So cheap $1 Walmart plastisol lures. You can remelt them once in the chartreuse, but it's pretty sketchy trying to go for that second remelt on it. But give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the next video.